Good day. I am Lylin Castro together with Earlshin Panagiton, are responsible for the integumentary system. Our body is consist of different human body systems, and one of those is the integumentary system. Integumentary system is composed of skin, hair, nails, and glands. These are the functions of the integumentary system. It protects the body's internal living tissues and organs, protects against invasion by infectious organisms, and protects the body from dehydration. So now let us tackle the different parts of the integumentary system. The first one is the skin. The skin is known to be the remarkable organ, for it is the first line of defense. It is responsible for insulation, regulation of heat, and excretion of waste. That is why when we do an intense physical activity, the temperature of our body rises and perspire. This is because the skin regulates the temperature of our body. It secretes water together with some salts and other substances, and this immediately gives us or the body itself a cooling effect. The skin is the largest organ of the body, weighing more than twice the brain. The skin of an average adult human has a surface area of about 1.5 to 2 square meters and a thickness of 2 millimeters. It serves as a protective cover for almost all of the body surface. The skin is composed of the outer layer called the epidermis, the middle layer called dermis, and the innermost layer called the subcutaneous layer. So we have here the structure of the skin, wherein the epidermis, dermis, and the hypodermis are identified. Epidermis is a layer of a vascular epithelial tissue. When we say avascular, it does not contain blood vessels and has a poor supply of oxygen and nutrients. Then, dermis is a tough layer of vascularized fibrous connective tissue. When we say vascularized, it contains blood vessels and has an efficient supply of nutrients and oxygen. Then the hypodermis or the subcutaneous layer is a layer of adipose tissue. So when we say naman sang adipose tissue, it is specialized connective tissue consisting of lipid-rich cells called the adipocytes. The epidermis is the outermost layer of the skin. It appears scaly because it is composed of layers of flat and dead cells. These cells are filled with keratin, which is a substance that blocks water and microorganisms from entering the skin. The skin has tiny openings called the pores through which sweat and oil leave the body. Found at the bottom layer of the epidermis are cells that produce melanin. It is a pigment that determines the color of the skin. Its function is to protect the skin by absorbing the ultraviolet rays from the sun. People with darker complexion have more melanin and therefore have more protection from the sun. Here are the layers of the epidermis. First is the stratum corneum. Consists of many layers of keratinized dead cells that are flattened and non-nucleated. It is cornified. Then the stratum lucidum, a thin, clear layer found only in the epidermis of the lips, palms, and soles. Next is stratum granulosum, composed of one or more layers of granular cells that contains fibers of keratin and shriveled nuclei. Then, stratum spinosum, composed of several layers of cells with centrally located, large, oval nuclei and spine-like processes. It is limited in the mitosis. And the last is the stratum basale. Consists of a single layer of cuboidal cells in contact with the basement membrane that undergo mitosis. contains pigment-producing melanocytes. The next one is dermis. The dermis is the layer found below the epidermis. This layer contains the sweat glands, oil glands, hair follicles, and blood vessels. Nerves are also found in this layer, which is essential for sensation such as touch, pain, heat, and pressure through the skin. So we have here the layers of the dermis. The two layers of dermis are the papillary layer and the reticular layer. The papillary layer of the dermis is made of areolar connective tissue with a network of collagen and elastic fibers. We have also the dermal papillae, which stick out into the epidermis above. It is indicated in the picture with a purple circle. The reticular layer of the dermis is dense fibrous connective tissue that is arranged irregularly. We have the subcutaneous layer, also known as the hypodermis, is a layer of fat below the dermis. Aside from serving as storage for food and energy, the fat layer serves as an insulator of heat. The subcutaneous layer also contains larger blood vessels and nerves. The thickness of this layer differs from person to person, varies depending on its location in the body. The next part of the integumentary system is the hair. Hair is made up of keratin. Hair grows from the hair root within the hair follicle embedded in the skin. The hair extends through the epidermis and protrudes from the skin. Most of the hair is dead and are keratinized. The only living part of the hair is at the bottom part, which is the hair bulb. Hair serves many functions. The hair in the nose and ears filter dust particles. Eyebrows deflect sweat to protect the eyes. Facial hair reduces the skin's exposure to UV rays. Hair in the scalp protects the head and the skull from abrasion. Different types of melanin determine the color of the hair. The more melanin, the darker is the color of the hair. It is the same with the skin that people with darker complexion have more melanin also. That's why old people tend to have gray and white hair because as one grows older, less and less melanin is produced. The next part of the integumentary system is the nails. Nails are also made up of keratin. They are formed from the root of epidermis. Fingernails grow at an average of 3 millimeters in a month, whereas toenails grow slower at an average of 1 millimeter in a month. Diet and the overall health of the person, among many other factors, affect the growth of the nail. Nails protect the sensitive fingertips and toes from injury. They also help in sensing the environment. Under the nails are the nerve endings that function in the sense of touch. The different parts of nails are the free edge, nail body, lunula, eponychium, and the nail root. Many are uncertain about the indication of the lunula in our fingernails. The change in color, shape, or size of the lunula can indicate the presence of disease and the predisposition of it. The little finger is connected with the work of the kidneys, small intestine, and the heart. The ring finger is responsible for the work of reproductive system. The middle finger is connected with the work of the brain and the cardiovascular system. The index finger is responsible for the function of the intestine and pancreas. And the last one is the thumb, which is responsible for the lungs and the spleen. The last part of the integumentary system are the glands. Glands release substances through the pores. The main glands of the skin are the sweat glands and the oil glands. Sweat glands help in the secretion of waste by releasing excess water and salts produced by the body. They also function in the regulation of the body temperature. If the body temperature becomes higher due to physical activity or the weather, the sweat glands release sweat which cools the body as it evaporates. Oil glands, also called sebaceous glands, secrete oily substance called sebum. Sebum lubricates and waterproofs the surface of the skin and hair. Too much production of sebum may clog the pores and produce microorganisms that may lead to infection and pimples.